Yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the KongaCast, where we discuss all things video games, especially relating to Nintendo. I'm your host, Adonis, and I am joined with my co-host, Ryan. Say hello, my friend.
Hello, my friend.
I knew you were going to do that. It's great to see everybody. Sorry we were not here last week. We are very busy people right now. Just had some scheduling issues. I myself am very, very swamped at work. Ryan, I know you usually are more often than not swamped. So, yeah, we apologize about that. But good news is that there is news. A lot of news that built up between last episode and this episode. So, what do you say we just kick this bad boy off?
Let's do it, man. We are a week away as of recording from the Nintendo Switch 2 launch, which is so exciting. We've been getting a lot of different news tidbits coming in and out over the last couple of weeks, and we got some good stuff for today. So stay tuned. But Adonis, why don't we just go ahead and kick it off?
Let's do it because I have been really wanting to talk about this specific topic recently. And I'm sure a lot of other people already know all of this because it's so big in the news. But Nintendo has reportedly, not reportedly, definitely will not be sending any review copies um, to reviewers, at least not until the very, very last minute. And not in its complete form as it seems, but that's for later in the conversation. So uh, this is fishy to me. I don't like this. Now, for me, since it's not been in people's hands for very long, so close to the release of the console, I'm not buying at launch. I probably won't even have the opportunity to because of availability and scalpers and all that. But I'm definitely waiting at least a month or two from this alone. Everything else included, but I'm curious to know what you think as well.
Yeah, I would say first, just anyone who maybe isn't too in the weeds on like how the industry kind of handles like review copies. It is very standard practice for companies to send out pieces of hardware, pieces of software before launch for review purposes. It gets in the hands of reviewers. Reviewers have whatever 2 or 3 weeks to really play through the software, tinker with the hardware, really get a hands-on impression. That way, reviews are ready for launch day or the day before launch day or whatever, whenever the embargo lifts, right? That is the standard. So it is very odd that Nintendo is going against the standard, against their own historical precedent in this instance, by not sending out any review copies. Now, the stated reason by Nintendo is that there is a major day one patch that is scheduled to hit the console on June 5th, and they did not want to send out review copies beforehand. But I mean, this still isn't like a very clear reason. There have been day one patches for every major hardware that's been sent out, put to market the last several years across all the big three. Nintendo themselves has sent out the Nintendo Switch, the Nintendo Wii U, which had day one patches, but sent those hardware pieces out to reviewers before launch. So kind of a
Right.
confusing reason, unless this is like really a day one patch that is just so incrementally important that like the hardware is like a paperweight without it. I really don't understand why you would not send this out for review copies. The Wii U, for crying out loud, was sent out for review beforehand. And like that was a barely functioning operating system before its day one patch. So like just
Yeah.
like a very bizarre um, decision by Nintendo and doesn't really shed good light on it. Usually, if you have confidence in your product and you're feeling good about it, you're ready to put it out there. You want people to review it, get excited. You get the good reviews before launch, and then excitement is just drawn up for launch.
Yeah, and I think that's the way I originally thought, but you and I had actually talked about this before we got on the show, and you made a good point in that like Nintendo is going to Nintendo, like no matter what. And this does track like them doing this kind of thing from what they've done in the past. So like it really shouldn't to look too deep into it, like because I originally thought that like the software is broken. Like they literally cannot ship because the hardware is messed up. I don't think that's the case necessarily after having more rational minds prevail. But I mean, the possibility is there. And also, I think Nintendo is, you know, very, very confident. But that does
Hmm.
lead into what you said. Like, if you're very confident, why not release it all early to be
Right.
reviewed?
Yeah,
So,
like we've seen both sides of the coin. So like when we were talking in the winter about Assassin's Creed Shadows, and one of the topics we talked about on the show is that that game was not going to be sent out for review before release. And then it's usually just such a terrible sign. Like that just usually shows that like the publisher is not confident enough in the product. They don't want bad reviews out there before the potential day one sales to hit. Um, so that's usually what this conveys to me as the consumer. Now, there I think you could argue the opposite way, as we were just discussing. Perhaps Nintendo is so confident in their product that they don't want the hardware to get out there pre day one patch in maybe a imperfect form, and allow reviews on that. They want reviews to go live right after day one, when the day one patch is there, and maybe that's just how confident they are. Now, to me, that as a consumer, that doesn't really shake that way. It usually shakes the other way. But perhaps that's their mindset. Like you said, Nintendo is going to Nintendo. They make weird decisions a lot of the time, and this to me is just another weird decision, right?
yeah, a lot of weird decisions lately from our good old family friendly Nintendo. This is just been a very exhausting release like window
It's
for
been
this
weird, man.
console. Um, yeah, I think I really do not like the way they handled this whole situation. It's just been really weird. And I've never been so close to not buying a Nintendo console. Not very well, I am very far away from making that decision. Like, I really want the Switch too, but I've never been this close, man. And it's a shame. I feel that a lot of people are not. I feel like more people than ever are not going to buy the console. But the way Nintendo has grown recently is that's not going to hurt them, their bottom line. They're going to, this console is going to sell insanely well. Like, you
Yeah.
know, projected, I think they're from their own projections, 15 million, and
Mhm.
that's only a short amount of time. So, yeah, uh,
Yeah, I
not great.
think I do think like there's definitely still some sticker shock from the price of the console, and I would not blame you or anyone from waiting to see just kind of how things shake out. If you're potentially able to get one secondhand at a cheaper price, whatever. Um, but all that being said, there is so much pent up demand for a new Nintendo piece of hardware.
Yeah.
And like you were just alluding to, Nintendo's own forecasts are showing about 15 million units projected to be sold this year, with a lot of analysts agreeing with that. A lot of analysts saying it's really just a matter of how much can Nintendo produce and ship into the US, is really going to determine how well this console does its first year. So, but back to the review thing, real quick. I just want to make this point. Um, if it wasn't clear already, the real detriment of not getting review copies out to these reviewers is for people like myself, like and yourself. But myself, I think I'm sold already. Like I think I would have a pre-order right now if pre-orders were available. But there was a part of me like earlier in this whole cycle that wanted to wait and see. Like I did want to wait and see how were reviews coming in on day one, on day zero, 2 days before the launch. Like are reviews going live? Are people talking about it? Is it as impressive and exciting as I want it to be? Now that's not really a possibility because now with this
Yep.
situation, you get reviewers getting the hardware at the same time as everyone else. So what happens now it's a mad rush. Who can be the first one to produce their review of the Switch 2? And of course, if you have all these journalists just competing to be first, to get the most clicks, you're not getting the best review. You're not getting enough time with the console, with the software to really give good impressions to consumers. So like that's the real detriment to me is like the day one reviews and day two reviews that are going to be live are not going to be the most in depth, not have the most time with the console as I would like.
Yeah. That's another really good point that I actually didn't even realize. And this is a side note. I hate the clout chasing journalism, uh, trend where it doesn't matter what you're saying or what you think about it. It's just being first and getting the most eyes on it by saying, even if you say something that you don't actually like think about
Yeah.
the thing that you're writing about. I just, oh God, I hate that so much. But you're totally right. It's going to be unreliable for, I think reviews are going to be mostly unreliable until like a couple weeks, maybe even longer, depending on
Mm.
how it goes. We'll see. Um, so yeah, this is just, not a great look for me specifically, but I'm not going to read too far into it. It's not going to hurt their bottom line. Nintendo got a Nintendo, and apparently, as of what is it, 29th, it has actually been in some people's hands. Am I to understand that?
Yes, sir. I think you are to understand that. So this is all like the gray area of this reporting where a lot of times people online can kind of claim it, or maybe they have a couple photos or videos or whatever of hardware in their hands, but then it gets taken down by Nintendo because you're not supposed to have it yet. But yes, what appears to be happening is units have been getting into people's hands. So whatever reason, retailers are either sending these out too early or whatever. Usually it's people who pre-ordered and it's been sent to them too early. I don't think these are going on shelves yet. But yeah, the case is that some people have gotten their hands on the Switch 2 already. And this is how we know about what is, able to be done with the console pre day one patch. Some things are conflicting, Adonis. Maybe correct me. I don't know 100% what's going on. It appears to me that Switch 1 games are completely unplayable because the day one patch is necessary for Switch 1 games to run. It appears, again, gray area of the internet right now, but it appears
Grain of
that
salt.
Switch 2 specific software is able to be played. Obviously, no one is connecting to online or anything like that yet. That's not really set up. But yeah, it's kind of a weird situation with Nintendo as of the last couple of years where they really don't have a great handle on some of these leaks. And this is one that's very interesting because this is your whole hardware kind of not even softly leaking into the hands of people a week early.
Yeah, and this seems to be happening more and more often. It's not just like Nintendo having to struggle with this. Literally, like Grand Theft Auto 6 had to struggle with something like this happening way, 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 way before in its own release cycle. But um yeah, this just seems to be happening, and it's not great. But I am not believing a single word they say because AI is extremely powerful in creating realistic images. So I don't trust anything
Mm,
until it's super
fair.
proven. Uh, and also clout chasing and engagement farming, that is also going to factor into stuff like this. But it tracks with what is kind of going on at the same time. So like, we could look into this, but it is, a gray area. So, you know, it is what it is to me.
Yeah.
I'm going to not believe a single word they say until I either get my hands on it or like somebody I know, or also checking to see how the reviews go.
Yeah.
So to me, this is like I don't believe you. Not yet,
That's
anyway.
totally fair. And it's honestly like a pretty underwhelming thing when this happens because wow, people have it in their hands, but then they try to boot it up and you get a screen that says connect to the internet for the patch, or it's a completely stripped down experience. It's not what the
That
Switch 2 is
would
going to
suck.
be. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So it's kind of just underwhelming when this happens. So when this happens, my mindset is cool, weird, whatever, but the full official release is a week away. That's still what I'm targeting. That's what I'm excited about. The
Hmm.
fact that it's in people's hands, whatever, they can kind of hold it in their hand. I don't know how functional it is,
Wow.
whatever. Without the day, yeah, exactly. But to me,
Looks
and I
cool.
recommend people do this as well. Just target the release date. That's the worldwide release. That's when people are going to be playing it. So we're going to connect online with it. That's when it's going to get exciting.
Yeah, and I think it's gonna come up real quick, so we won't have to wait much longer. So yeah, man,
So
this has
one other
been an
thing
ex. Oh,
So one other thing with this though, Adonis. So whoever
oh,
got their hands on this system, I think someone was able to bypass some of the alerts to do the day one patch. We have confirmation, Adonis. that the themes for the Nintendo Switch 2 are basic black and basic white, which I think makes a lot of people mad. I'm really not in the camp of getting so strung out over the themes of the Nintendo Switch and the Nintendo Switch 2. But man, people care a lot about that. So I think a lot of people are not happy about that news. Do you care? Does that sit with you?
No, I
Thank
don't
you.
care at all. I'm going to use the dark theme and then never think about it ever again.
Thank
So,
you. Some people
man,
care
you
so much, and I guess whatever, but it's really does not like I boot up the Switch to play a game. I don't boot up the Switch to look at the menu. I don't know. So anyway,
either do
that's
I.
kind of all I had for the Switch 2 pre-release release. Again, there's been little tidbits of stuff coming out already, all this good stuff that's all out there on the internet, random mini game announcements and stuff like that. More trailers are being posted on these games almost every day. But did you add anything else before we want to move on to the next topic?
No, that's pretty much. I think we covered it all. I think we talked about the Switch too. Like every single possible, uh, every single aspect of the Switch to this point. So and by the next time this episode, next time you hear us next week, the Switch 2 will be out as it should be, right? Yeah. So we'll know sooner rather than later. But our next topic, unfortunately, is another kind of scandalous entry to the to our news this week. Bungie, uh, notably working on Destiny 2 and their new, well, old but renewed IP of Marathon, currently owned by Sony, is in some hot water. Like some hot water is putting it pretty lightly. They're in a lot of hot water. Reason why is because the alpha test for like pre-alpha kind of for Marathon happened recently, and people got their hands on it. And an artist on social media spoke up and was like, "Hey, my artwork's in this alpha, and it's literally copy pasted."
Mm.
Which is really that's really bad. And not I almost said Nintendo. Bungie's response wasn't exactly great. It was made from a non-verified um, account, which I mean, verification on Twitter. Who the hell cares about verification anymore? Um, and like a not a very highly like um, watched channel or I don't know how Twitter works. I don't use social media anymore, but like it's not a very followed account. And they were like, "Hey, we're sorry. It was the actions of an employee who is no longer with us." Which like, okay, you got a scapegoat. Great. Well, why do a bunch of people follow this artist on Twitter then? You know what I mean? Not doesn't look great. And you know this is really bad. And Marathon already is kind of like weird. It's trying to break into a genre which is extraction looter shooter kind of PvP. If you, I'm sure you've heard of it once or twice before. That's already a pretty established genre, and it's going to be very difficult for them to break in. And it's Bungie's current, you know, what is it? Bungie's current like customer that they sell to, like the people that are fans of Bungie are generally more so PvE. So people already weren't really super thrilled about Marathon. What people really wanted was Destiny 3. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. People were still kind of excited for it. Now this is terrible. And it's gotten so terrible to the point that Sony has since canceled marketing. This game, so to put it in perspective how
Yeah.
important this game is for Bungie, it has to be a top 5 game this year to be a profit. Or I
Yes.
guess next year.
So yeah, you just covered a lot, but Bungie's in hot water
Yeah.
for a lot of different things. So I'll touch on the artist part first.
Yeah, so what do
Um,
you think?
well, let me go in chronological order. So it appears to me that Marathon, newest game from Bungie, currently in development, went to pre-alpha. People were playtesting it. Playtesting was not received well.
Mm-mm.
Consumers came back and they said, "This is not fun. This is not what I want out of a Bungie game." All that good stuff. Developers took it to heart. I don't think they were too happy about it. Later comes out that, like you were referring to, an artist on Twitter by the name of Anti-Real is uh, tweeting Bungie and saying, "Hey, it looks like you're stealing my artwork for your game." I'm paraphrasing. That's basically what they're saying. And
Yeah.
they are right because Bungie owned up to it. Bungie said, "We are sorry. This was a former employee who took this artwork without permission. Sorry about that. Whoopsie, my bad." And this is also not the first time Bungie has stolen artwork from users
No, it
without
is not.
crediting or paying or whatever. There was this like basically the same issue in 2021 where artwork was taken without Bungie, being okay, without Bungie paying or crediting anything like that. So like fault on a fault there. And then yeah, like there's just like a lot of junk around this game, Adonis. Like the game just did not test well. The marketing has been pulled from Sony, which means this game is probably about to be delayed if it's not already been announced it's being delayed. And it just seems like another bloated budget, multiplayer centric looter shooter type of game, whatever, that doesn't really have mass appeal, which is so crazy. It's crazy how far Bungie has fallen. Even before I get into that, I think there was another case, Adonis, that I don't know if you heard about this, but there's reports that saying it's like dire at Bungie right now. Like employee
Yeah.
morale is like the lowest it's ever been. That's
Free
like the
fall.
quote that came from the article. There's just a lot of crap going around with Bungie right now. It's like, how did you get to this place? Bungie is the developers of the original Halo games, like some of the most revered, celebrated first-person shooters ever. How did it get to this point? It's just a crazy fall from grace from Bungie. And like, what do you do if you're them? Like, they're just in a lot of hot water lately.
They need their leader to step up. They are leaderless. This guy is making millions, billions of dollars and just doing nothing. Bungie has a terrible leader. I can't even think of the guy's name because he's like just so insignificant to me because he doesn't ever like come to the forefront and like take command of his company. That's how you fix this situation is you have a leader that steps up and takes responsibility and accountability and then fixes it. And Bungie is actually going out of their way to fix it. They reached out to the artist directly and are looking to hire her. And they also, which is I would have never ever done, they did a live stream, a developer live stream, like a campfire
Mm.
chat. I think it was like a weekly thing. Um, I could be wrong about that, but um, where they put the game director and one other guy, I don't know who they are, like, and they acknowledged it like right away. It was a somber and it was a bloodbath in the comments in the chat, which they did not mute. They did not mute that chat, and they took it all. And it was the whole episode was about that, and they looked mortified. They looked like the
Oh,
PTSD soldier meme. It was bad. I
yeah.
kind of respect that, but here's the thing: is that like, what are we doing about it now? What are we doing about the leadership? You know, because there's also reports that I've seen. This is in the gray area. That like if you're not part of the good boys club or good boys group or whatever, which is like the higher level leadership in Bungie, your opinions did not matter. That's
Mm.
a problem. That is a big old problem. If that is true, Bungie is dead. Like that's dead to me specifically because the ground floor is what's making it possible.
Yeah.
You gotta listen to your devs because the devs are in tune with your player base. Like, and that's not even just for the video game branch. Like, every branch of the company, you should always care what your even the most ground floor employee thinks. Um,
Hmm.
so yeah,
Yeah,
this
they're
is
just
this
hitting
is
they're
bad.
hitting all the marks. They're hitting all the marks for bad leadership, bad
Sure are.
company management, people communication, all of it. They're going for the rainbow of it all. Uh, and this is a little tangential, but I did see a old magazine scan on Twitter the other day,
Hmm.
and it was a something out of Game Informer or whatever. It was a poll. This is 2000. 2005, 2006, whatever.
Wow.
What are some of the development teams that you trust the most? And I think it was publishing teams as well. What are
Oh
the
my
development
God.
and publishing teams you trust the most to make a good game? And then the top three were Ubisoft, EA, and Bungie. So it's so funny. I mean, all those companies are, hated on, popular to hate on for a lot of good
So
reasons.
good.
But I'll go back to it, man. Bungie created the original Halo games. Like, how has it become like this? So I don't know, man. I know like ownership has switched. Obviously, they were a um, Xbox primarily studio, and now they've been bought out by Sony. So like maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe there's been a lot more upheaval behind the scenes stuff that like even we don't know about. Who knows?
Yeah.
But man, the fall from grace is huge. Marathon looks like a game no one cares about. No one really wants to play, and yeah, they're in a pickle.
Yeah, and you ask yourself, what would you do in this scenario, right? So, like, if I'm Bungie, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna delay it. I'm gonna absolutely delay it. But
They might not
like
have a choice. I think
they might
Sony
not.
is making that choice for them.
Yeah, exactly. So like, it's most definitely going to happen. But where do you release it then? Because now you're competing with GTA 6, and Marathon is not coming anywhere within the ballpark of GTA 6. You know that. So you guess you got to push it even further back, unless GTA 6 gets delayed again. You're in a really tough spot, so you really got to push it out. But pushing it out means more time with the game and more time away, removed from this whole situation. And uh, I think add PvE mode, because there's a lot of Destiny players. There's a lot of Destiny players. I'm one of them. I played the game for a long, long time. So add a PvE mode. That'll be tough, but you could even dunk on what is it? Overwatch for not putting theirs in. That would be a pretty cool marketing tactic, So that's what I would do. I would put a PvE mode in. I would play it if there was a PvE mode. I'm not a big PvE extraction looter shooter guy. Never played like Tarkov or anything like that. Um, but yeah, like it's so let it cook some more. Put it back in the oven. Hire that artist, which it seems like they're already trying to do. Hire more artists, and then when you're done hiring those artists, hire even more artists. Because you and just take from them. To take from them. Don't take from anybody else. You freaking you kleptomaniacs. Stop that. So that's what I would do. I think that's what they will do. They're already kind of doing it. Um, Bungie, to me, old Bungie is dead. That's just the truth.
Yeah,
I'm
unfortunately.
sure there are some older people there, like from the old days, but old Bungie is dead. New Bungie needs to kick it into gear.
Yeah, I don't know, man. They're in a pretty dire situation, but kind of crazy all the crap that's been flying around Bungie lately. But yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's really all I had to say about that topic. If we wanted to pivot to anything else before we get
Yeah.
into what we've been playing recently.
That's all I have to say about it. And I've been really looking forward to this part of the show, as I always do, because it's time to talk about what we've been playing this week.
I'll go
You
first if you
want to
don't
go
mind.
first? You go first.
I have the shortest what we've been playing recently of all time, and it's been like
Oh,
2 weeks since we talked. So
oh
I'm gonna
yeah.
go quick.
Oh,
So I've been doing a lot of like stuff around my house lately. I've had this big
right.
backyard yard project back in the real world. So I swear I have had two gaming sessions in the last 2 weeks. And I think they were both like 20 to 30 minutes of Half-Life 2. So I still feel
Oh,
like
okay, good.
I'm so early in the game. I only have like two guns, but like, I'm still enjoying it. I just like haven't had time to do anything gaming related the last like 2 weeks or so. So that's really all it for me. So
Well, I mean, have your thoughts changed at all on the game since in these two short gaming sessions?
still like it, man. I mean, it's just Half-Life 1 with more refinement, better map design, that kind of stuff. Again, I'm pretty early. I just got on the boat and I'm like driving around on a
Right.
lake, and I've done a couple obstacles with the boat, which were pretty fun. Getting out of the boat, trying to figure out how to advance. I've enjoyed it so far. So
That's good. It's okay to not play video games, people. But I am disappointed in you. Just letting you know
no,
that.
big time. Yeah.
How dare you not be a degenerate like me? How dare you? I have a long answer to what I've been playing this week. I've only been playing one game though. Helldivers 2. The situation is dire.
Oh boy.
Super Earth itself is under attack. This is the first time we have ever fought on Super Earth. And it is so there's for anybody who doesn't know, Helldivers 2 is a live like war campaign where everything you do counts. The whole I'm doing my part thing. Um, there are three factions we are fighting in an active war against. One is bugs, the Terminids. Other is like Terminator robots, the automatons, and the third is squid aliens. Those are the Illuminate. And the Illuminate literally created a we created the black hole because we blew up a planet. But anyway, we don't have to talk about that. They moved said black hole towards Super Earth, and they came out of said black hole, which I guess technically is a wormhole now, and attacked Super Earth. They rolled through every planet between every single planet that we own between where they were and Super Earth, and immediately attacked every mega city on Super Earth. And oh my god, this might be one of the most fun video game experiences I've ever had in my life. This is awesome. It is currently running average of 100,000, north of 100,000 players at all times,
Wow.
with a
Holy
peak
crap.
of like 200K.
That's insane.
People love this game, and I think not I think I know they are that love is well warranted. I think I have somewhere between 600 and 700 hours at this moment running around with if you see John Helldiver, it may or may not be me. Um, I've played this game quite a lot and I've never had any experience like this. So what is it like? Well, when you drop in, it is an actual city. It looks like you're walking around in a city. Big buildings, destructible buildings, and an urban, like a future, like the perfect future meme where it's like if this didn't happen and it shows you like this beautiful pristine
Yeah.
city that's in the future. That's what it looks like. It's insane. It looks so cool and it runs really well. Oh, even on my computer, which is like pretty old considering. So they nailed the the looks of the environment. The gameplay is awesome. Urban warfare is so cool. It's like playing paintball. Um, Although last time we played paintball together, it was way out in the woods, which was awesome.
Hmm.
That was so much fun. I'm getting distracted, but yeah, and it's hard too. I wouldn't say it's as hard as the robots, the automatons, but it is difficult. I've been running Super Hell Dive, which is the highest difficulty, almost every mission. So I'm very well acquainted with the difficulty at this point, and I think they struck a really nice even spot with it. The most powerful enemy in the game was introduced in the Leviathan, which is if you've seen the first Avengers movie, the giant like snake, not like snake. It's like the giant monsters floating around in the sky in the Avengers movie.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it's like, and it's so difficult to take down. Awesome, easily my favorite mob in the game now. I love seeing those things. They're so cool, and it literally looks like the Avengers movie Invasion. In fact, I think they took a lot of inspiration from that because they literally opened up a black hole which aliens poured out of in that movie. Same thing. So, excuse me, I got to take a drink. But yeah, it's been an absolute blast up to this point. We'll see how it goes. We are currently, as of recording this, are down to two megacities after starting with around 10. I think it's either 10 or 12. And we are holding the line. We're losing said cities, but we are at the very last major order, which says hold Super Earth. And we have 2 days left. Almost exactly 2 days left. Man, it has just been a freaking blast, man.
Dude, that's fantastic. 100,000 players. at
I
any given
know.
time is insane. That is a crazy amount of people playing one game at the same time.
It's in
Uh,
like the top 10 charts of concurrent players almost at all times right now. And what's even crazier is they're all in the same spot.
mhm.
They're all on
That's
Super
crazy.
Earth.
So all of like as you're describing it, it sounds incredible, by the way. But I am thinking, Sony, why are you making Bungie make Marathon? You
Right?
have Helldivers too. Like this is the live service game you want. You can't have all the live service games. You just get
Yes,
one.
Ryan. Yes.
But
I'm so
not,
glad you said
I
that.
didn't mean to like just bring it back to Bungie to crap on them a little bit more. But yeah, that's incredible. I mean, that is a crazy popular game. And it's really cool that like it's almost like peaking right now with like something really cool happening in the story. Uh, Glad you're enjoying it, man.
Thanks, man. Yeah. And the devs are, I think, a great team. I think that's why this is such a beloved game, is because we love the devs. We don't give a dang about Sony. Although Sony, would be great if you released Helldivers in the countries that you took it away from. That would be great. Um, I haven't forgotten about that. My review of Helldivers 2 is still negative to this day. Will not change it until they do that. But yeah, I've been having so much fun. People are engaging, talking over the mic, which people never do. So it's I think this is a very much so like a hidden gem. Not a hidden gem. There's 100,000 people playing. This is a gem, and it's still a gem. 700 hours later for me, just under 700 hours. So I haven't been playing anything else. I played a little bit of Monster Hunter when I went to. I went on a business trip and I brought my PlayStation with me. Played a little bit of that. So yeah, that's all I've been playing this week. So I think it is about time to wrap it up. What do you say, my friend?
Yeah, dude. I think so. I think that yeah, I like I said, I really only had the one game and it was like a little bit for these last 2 weeks. So I'm ready to
Get
wrap it
back
up
to
with you.
work.
I
Get
know.
back to work, Ryan. Um, the next game I will be playing is one that a good friend bought for me.
Ooh,
So
that's
I think
me.
you know what that is. Yeah, that's you. So that's going to do it for this edition of the KongaCast. Thank you, everyone, for tuning into this episode. If you like what you heard, make sure to rate 5 stars on Spotify or Apple Music and follow the show to hear more. To stay up to date on the show, make sure to follow us on Twitter at KongaCast. For all business inquiries, please email kongacast@gmail.com. Thanks again for listening. Have a great day, and we'll see you next week. Bye bye.
Bye.